So yeah, this is better. This is better. So you got the spiritual riches right here, right? Spiritual riches versus carnal riches, and we're gonna go into both of them. We start off on the carnal riches first. Okay, carnal riches: gold, silver, cattle. Stay with me here. Alright. We're gonna teach you economics in this one. Cattle, right? Real economics. Okay. So gold, silver, cattle, spice. We're also gonna put spice here as well. Spices, yeah. Spices are a commodity. Cinnamon. We're gonna get into it. Spices. What else? What else? What else? Um, there's so much more. We leave it at that for now. All right. Land. Can't forget that. Land. Okay, because wherever you buy, when you buy a house, you're not really just paying for the house. You're paying for the land that's upon that house. The land is a part of that house, so that's what you're paying for, really. The space. Okay. But they will have you. You're paying for. They would have you believing you're paying for the house. So just a minute, we got that. So we're gonna get into this now. Okay. Genesis, right? 13:2. And check this out, Baba Kishar. We're gonna do a little jumping around. 13:2. You're gonna have to bear me just a minute. A lot of jumping around. We're gonna get straight into the scriptures. Genesis 13:2. You see me? Teach you some basic economics. It's gonna simplify everything. Because what we've been taught about money and all that stuff, a lot of people don't even know what real money is. Mhm. Genesis 13, and I believe it's 2. So it says right here, when Abraham went up from Egypt, and his wife, and all they had, and Lot was with him. Lot was his nephew. To the south, Abraham was very rich in livestock, in silver, livestock is animals, and in silver, and in gold. What did we just put on here? Gold, silver, cattle, spices, and land. So this Abraham is very wealthy. And he went on his journey from south as far as Bethel to the place where his tent had been at the beginning. Between Bethel and Ai, to the place of the altar which he made there first. And there Abraham called on the name of the Lord Yahweh. Lot also, who went with Abraham, had flocks and herds and tents. Now the land was not able to support them. Why? Because they had great possessions. That they might dwell together, for their possessions were so great they could not dwell together. So they had to depart. And there was a strife between the herdsmen of Abraham's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. And the Canaanites and the Perizzites then dwelt in that land. The Canaanites are descendants of Ham and the Perizzites. So Abraham said to Lot, please let there be no strife between me and you and me, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen. For we are brethren, it is not the whole land before you. Please separate from me. If you take the left, then I will go to the right. Or if you go to the right, then I will go to the left. And Lot lifted up his eyes and saw all the plain of Jordan, and that it was well watered, everywhere before the Lord destroyed. Sodom and Gomorrah, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt as you go towards Zoar. Then Lot chose for himself all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated from the each to Abraham dwelt in the land. So they had to depart. Why? Because their riches were they were increasing, so they had to separate ways. So what does this show us? Real stock, real money is livestock, land, and if you have livestock, that means you would need to have lands to put that livestock on. Because these livestock, they need to graze, right? They need to graze on the field. Okay. That's why you see a lot of them Irish, them travelers, they have a lot of them wealth. Okay. Because they have horses. And in order to have horses, you need to have land. And if you have land, that's money. And you're making money. That's why you see a lot of these travelers, Irish, they have money. because they know how to live off land and they know how to make money off the land as well. Just throwing that out there. Okay. So you see that right there. Okay. This is real money. But in today's society, we're not teaching you that. They're teaching you, all right, get up 7, 8 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock, get up to work, put on your suit, put on your shoes, get in that car, drop the children off, and come into work and you work for me. Am I against working? No, I'm not, because the scripture says by the sweat of your brow you should work. But the way it's being done today is so you can build someone else up, build up their household, and not build yourself up. And there was also a account where Jacob, he worked, what was it, 7 years for, I forgot who it was, Laban. 7 years, right? Because he was doing that for a woman he wanted. Then, because he knew he was being blessed, Laban, he had to work another 7 years. So that's 14 years in total. But that 14 years, he left. They're having you work till 70, 60 years old. This is bad. Then they say, yeah, then you get your pension. They keep putting it up. And by the time you get that pension, you're half dead. Can't even barely walk. So it's this system is just, listen, it beats you down till you have nothing unless you're smart, unless you're wise, and you apply this knowledge, right? You shouldn't have to work 70, 60 years and have little to show for it. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's get back to the point now. So we went to that. Hold on. Where's my papers? Hold on. We'll show you what real money is, man. Not to be fooled by these people, man. So that's the carnal riches. And we're not done yet. We're going to also go to Revelations 18. Okay. And nothing's wrong with having good things, by the way. Don't get it twisted, because Solomon had good things, but we're not worshipping those things. This is Revelations 18. Mhm. Check this out. Mhm. Revelations 18. And we're going to jump straight to, hold on. Revelations 18 and 3. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants, what's merchant? A trader of the earth have become rich through the abundance of her luxury. Speaking about America. America produces in mass. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. Render to her just as she rendered unto you, and repay her double according to her works. In the cup which she has filled, she has mixed double for her. In the measure she has glorified herself and lived deliciously, the same measure give her torment and sorrow, for she says in her heart, I sit as a queen, and I am no widow, and I shall not see no sorrow. Therefore shall her place come in one day, death, mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord power who judges her. Check this out now. The kings of the earth who committed fornication and lived luxuriously with her will weep and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning, standing at a distance for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour your judgment has come. And the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, for no one buys their merchandise anymore, because they produce a lot. Merchandise of gold, silver, precious stones, pearls, fine linen, purple, silk, scarlet, every kind of citron wood, every kind of object of ivory, every kind of object of most precious wood, bronze, iron, marble, cinnamon, incense, fragrant oil, and frankincense, wine, oil, fine flour, wheat, cattle, sheep, horses, chariots, and bodies, and souls of men. The fruit that your soul longed for has gone from you. All the things which are rich and splendid have gone from you. You shall find them no more at all. The merchants of these things who became rich by her will stand at a distance for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, which are colours of witchcraft as well, and royalty, and adorned in gold, with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour such great riches came to nothing. Every shipmaster, all who travelling in ships, sailors, as many as trade on sea, stood at a distance and cried out when they saw the smoke of a burning, saying, What is like the great city? That's speaking of America. So America's the one that's producing a lot of stuff because it's been stolen from the other nations. That's why I keep saying, if you're cracking just 1% of the market in America, you are a billionaire, 1% of the market, and you have a product and it's selling. And that's just 1%. That's why a lot of people go to America for trading and for business, because it's such a big place to sell, to buy, to consume. A lot of consumerism there. So now we went into the carnal riches, right? We went into those things, right? So we went into that, right? That's one side of it. But guess what we're going to do now? Go into the spiritual riches, which is key. Now, this is what we want to attain unto. And you know what I'm thinking about right now? Matthew's, hold on. Is for some reason this I knew this would play up a bit. Hold on. This ain't the proper pens for this board, you know. This is basically a highlighter. It doesn't work well with this. So Matthew 6. I'm so lucky about the voices in the background. That's, gang stalkers, criminals and gang stalkers above it. So lucky. Hold on just a minute. Let me see if this pen works instead. Yeah, this is slightly better. Yeah, don't worry about that. Gang stalkers, they get discombobulated, innit? They get all in their feelings. There's a lot of people out here that ain't got nothing going for them. Matthew 6 and I think it's 19. So this is a spiritual aspect now. Now we want to lay up treasures. Let's go to Matthew 6 and 19. Hold on just a minute. Okay. Now this is true wealth we want to lay up. Let's go to Matthew 6 and 19. Remember, everything here is vanity. Vanities are vanity. Solomon said that. So we got Matthew 6 and 19, Baba Kashan. This is Matthew 6 and 19. Do not lay up for yourselves. Let's go to it. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust doth destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in the heavens where neither moth nor rust doth destroy, where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. This is beautiful here. So we're doing it. Brothers are doing, laying up them spiritual important treasures, man. All right, we're doing that. Okay, which is the word, not physical. It says where moth and rust doth corrupt, because moth and rust, that's it can eat clothing, it can eat you got linen, it can eat that. It eats cloth, it eats all things. But lay up for yourselves what treasures in heaven. Key thing, in heaven. All right, laying. So that's Matthew's foot in laying treasures. These are spiritual treasures. The wisdom. Oh, you know what? Let's quickly go to Isaiah 66, Isaiah 33. I believe it's Isaiah 33 and 6. Isaiah 33 and 6. Check this out. Isaiah 33 and 6. Wisdom and knowledge will be the stability of your times and the strength of your salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. That's a treasure as well. Isaiah. The fear of the Lord is a treasure. You see how all these precepts link up? What was that? Isaiah 33 and 6. 33 and 6. Fear of the Lord Yahweh Shai. Hold on. This pen ain't too good. Yahweh Shai is treasure. Excuse me with the handwriting, by the way. Is his treasure. So that's going to be the main treasure in the times to come. When all hell is breaking loose, this is what the men of the Lord, this is what they're going to possess. The fear. You can have all the knowledge in the world, everything, and if you lack the fear of the Lord, it means nothing. All right. I hope this is edifying. And we're gonna go to another one, Proverbs as well. Right, there's so much scriptures that are just coming to mind right now. Let's also go to Proverbs. Right, check this out. We got Proverbs here, 8, and we're gonna jump straight to 10. Receive my instruction, and not silver, and knowledge rather than trace gold. The instruction is you have a manual. If you get something right, you get a package, and it's gonna have an instruction manual to show you how to put something together. If you don't go by that manual, you could easily get something wrong. So what's that instruction manual? The scriptures. Hmm? Receive my instruction, not silver, and knowledge rather than trace gold, for wisdom is better than rubies, and all things one may desire cannot be compared with her. It says it right here. All things cannot be compared to what? Wisdom. Right? What's this? This is Proverbs 8 and 10. It's Proverbs 8 and 10. Right? So also write that down. Proverbs 8 and 10. Receive what? Wisdom. Hold on, where was I again? Wisdom is better than rubies. Receive my instruction rather than silver. Instruction. Instruction rather. Pen's running out. Then silver. So this is all we need. Now there's spiritual, you know what? Spiritual wisdom and so that's spiritual riches and carnal riches. So there's nothing wrong with having carnal riches as well. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Both go hand in hand. Because the Lord also did say, make friends with mammon. Because if you don't have no money, how are you going to have a roof over your head? How are you going to drink? How are you going to feed yourself? So remember, there's balance, but we're not worshipping these things. Right? There's supposed to be a balance in both of these things. Right? So we've established that spiritual riches versus carnal riches. Gold, silver, cattle, spices, land. That's true wealth. Physical wealth. Then you have spiritual wealth. Matthew 6 and 19. Laying what? Spiritual treasures. Mhm. So we've established that. Isaiah 33 and 6. Fear of the Lord is what? Strength and wisdom, and is a treasure. Proverbs 8 and 10. What does it say? Receive instruction rather than silver. That's spiritual wisdom. So both of these, if you attain to both of these, that's a plus. Right? Because yeah, we need money to maneuver in this kingdom as well. But the main thing is what? Spiritual riches that are down here. Spiritual riches. Okay? So I'm going to shut off here. Lord willing, this was edifying. And until the next time, shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.